Hello and welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's Wednesday, May 18th. I'm Mwamoyo Hamza in for Shaka Sali, who is on assignment in Africa. Today we'll discuss the Anti-Homosexuality Bill in Uganda as it relates to Universal Human Rights Declaration. Uganda's controversial anti-homosexuality bill has been postponed, with the Speaker of the Parliament saying there was not enough time to start the debate on the bill this term. The bill, which has drawn condemnation from human rights groups in the United States, calls for severe punishment, even at one point calling for death sentence for those engaging in homosexual acts. My colleague Paul Sisco has more on this story.
Uganda's anti-homosexuality bill was submitted to Parliament by MP David Bahati.
The Constitution of Uganda prohibits same-sex marriage. The Penal Code Act of this country talks about unnatural behavior.
And if Mr. Bahati had his way, the death penalty could be applied for repeated offenses and some homosexual acts. Uganda's parliament adjourned this week without acting on the anti-gay bill that never fails to provoke strong reactions on both sides of the debate.
Africans unite against homosexuality.
The bill criminalizes any person or group promoting homosexuality. U.S. President Obama says the legislation is odious and no changes can justify it. International human rights groups oppose it, as do many members of the clergy.
I'd like to see the decriminalization of homosexuality in Uganda. I'd like to see a definitive end put to the Bahati bill and this discussion of both imprisoning and executing people simply because they're gay, sometimes just based on hearsay, imprisoning people who do or do not turn them in.
U.S. State Department spokesman Mark Toner.
Let me just say very clearly that no amendments, no changes would justify the passage of this odious bill. We continue to join Uganda's own Human Rights Commission in calling for its rejection.
In 2006, the South African Parliament passed landmark legislation recognizing same-sex marriages, but homosexuality remains violently unpopular and criminal in many African nations. In January, Ugandan gay activist David Kato was beaten to death. He had been featured in a magazine exposing 100 Ugandan gays. The hate crime brought hundreds together near the United Nations in New York to mourn his loss and call for the decriminalization of homosexuality. Human rights activist Kasha Jacqueline Nabagasara.
David is gone. His murderer might be set free. He may never get justice. So I have this anger to continue the fight that David died for, so that his death is not in vain.
The United Nations has declared March 17th International Day Against Homophobia. The Secretary General spoke earlier.
Laws that criminalize people on the basis of their sexual orientation still exist in some countries. This outdated penal code should be reformed.
Last week, media attention on Uganda was on the inauguration of President Museveni, opposition leader Kizza Besigye, and street protests against price rises, corruption, and human rights abuses. In June, when the new parliament reconvenes, proponents of the anti-homosexual bill are expected to resubmit it without the death penalty clause. Paul Sisco, VOA News.